Welcome everyone, take your seats. We're going to go over some classroom things. That's the exit door if the fire drills do go off. And we'll start a class roster to get to know everyone. Is firefighter Ashley present?
Here.
Firefighter Tammy?
Here.
Great. Firefighter Jennifer?
Here.
Great. Okay, let's get started. I want to put up my information. My name is Eric Daniels. I'm a driver operator for the McKinney Fire Department. Here's my contact info if you need to get a hold of me, name and number. I have 13 years of service with McKinney in the fire service. 7 of that was with the aircraft rescue firefighting, and just recently promoted to driver operator. So today what we're going to do is talk about the straight hose roll method. Get excited about it because you're going to be doing it a lot, and you need to know it down to the very basic aspect and why you do it and the multi-uses of it. Just to know that it's the most common used roll and every firefighter will perform following testing, training exercises, or on fire incidents. You must be able to perform this roll evenly without any kinks and know which way the couplings need to go appropriately. And that's our goal at the end of the day, to learn how to do that. That way we can apply it when you do get a job. We need to describe and demonstrate the straight hose roll method. That's our objective today. Let's start out with the presentation. So this is the straight hose roll method, and there's a perfect example of a finished straight hose roll ready to be applied on the fireground for operations. With the male on the inside, as you can see with the threads, female on the outside. I can grab this loop right here and throw and roll it. Ready to go. I'll reiterate our learning objectives are to describe the purpose of the straight hose roll, and then we'll demonstrate it later and an exercise. And here's our purposes. The straight hose roll is the most common used in the fire service. Hose rolls are selected based on their intended use, and we'll go into the more intended uses later, but just know there's multiple uses of how to load them and how to deploy them. In the straight hose roll method, the male coupling, like I said, is on the inside. Here's a closer picture, and the female is on the outside. The straight roll is used for numerous purposes. Here's a really cool purpose. This is a tool that rolls your LDH for you in a donut roll or a single roll. That way you can load it easier. It's kind of neat. Here are some of the ways you can do it. You can load it on the back of an apparatus, just like the previous picture. Here's a different contraption, but they're doing the same thing. Is you have a single rolled hose as you load it on the back of the apparatus. Now this is LDH, which is a larger diameter hose, but you can do it with a single jacket, small, even a forestry hose. It's going to be applied to any diameter. Also, when you return to quarters, say if you don't want to load it on the back of the apparatus, ready for use on the next fire scene, you can load it back in the cabinet. Some apparatus have spare hose for multi-use that they load in a single roll method that they store in a different compartment. This is just a prime example of a short shot in a single roll method. Also a place for storage. This is a great example of a single roll hose in many diameters, ready for storage. It's stored this way because there's not a lot of room for air and water to create mold. And you can see which different colors, sizes that are appropriate to grab or use. It's ready to go. Also the load of the Minuteman. A Minuteman is a type of hose load we've just started using at McKinney, along with our triple layers. One of the easiest ways to do it, if you don't have the space, is to single roll down here on the ground and roll it that way. Here's some considerations for the hose roll. One, for repair and test, just like a straight hose roll, but in reverse. You're going to put your female down first and roll it that way. This lets everyone know on the fire ground, if you don't have a tag or some kind of ribbon, to let everyone know that it's not ready for use, that it is damaged. It needs to be tested or repaired by the department before it gets back on the fire ground. This is just a quick way to do it when we don't have those tools. Another one is, another technique is the donut roll. As you can see, there's no coupling on the inside, they're both on the outside. It was rolled from the middle onto itself. This is a really cool technique used for when you need to grab both couplings and let it go for like an extended line. That way you're not chasing your coupling. And another one is a twin donut roll. It's this with a sister next to it. This is really good for high-rise operations in tight quarters, or for front bumper loads if you're trying to get something off quick in a tight space. And now we're going to demonstrate rolling a straight roll. I'm going to show it on here before we go outside and apply that. Here's an example of a bunch of straight roll LDH. You want to lay out your lay the hose out straight and flat on a clean surface. Use gravity. If you're on a hill, make sure you're rolling down the hill so that the water doesn't come back on you. It also expedites the air as well, and you're not working uphill. You're going to roll the male coupling over onto the hose itself. That's where you're going to start. It's best, I didn't say before, but make sure your hose is straight, that it's not curvy. When you start this operation, it's really easy, but as you grow and get bigger, it gets a little more difficult, especially if you have a longer length of hose that's that's narrow. And then lay the completed roll on the ground flat. That way you can kick out the kinks, which is your step 4 here. You're gonna tamp any protruding coils down with your foot. I've seen a lot of guys do this, stand on it. They may even nudge the female coupling to get it real nice, tight, compact, so they can put it back in the compartment. Okay, now that we've gone over describing it and demonstrating it, is there any questions from the class?
No.
All right, we're gonna go outside into the bay and demonstrate how to do the straight hose roll. All right, we're here with firefighter Stradling. He's gonna demonstrate the steps in performing a straight hose roll. Also have firefighter Ross down there watching him as he rolls, making sure the straight hose roll is tight, and he is starting with the male coupling. Go ahead there, Stradling.
All right.
Now we have the hose laid out on a flat surface. Make sure there's no kinks. And he's going to start rolling the male coupling over onto itself to start the roll. Notice he's kind of pulling it towards him and rolling at the same time. There's different techniques, especially if you have a small space. Also know you can, if you're on a hill, you can do this down a hill and drain the water at the same time. Let gravity help you. He's continue rolling the coupling over the hose. It's forming an even roll. And now he's to the end. He's going to lay the completed roll on the ground. He's going to tamp any protruding coils down into the roll with his foot. And now it's ready to go load back up on the engine or store back on the rack. Good job, fellas. You're famous.
You're famous.
And that's the straight hose roll. All right, we just got done out in the bay practicing the straight hose roll method. Let's evaluate what we've learned and go over some questions with the class. And just to reiterate some of the key points that you need to make sure your straight hose roll is even with no kinks and you got the couplings in the right spot. Let's hit some questions from the class. What's the most common type of hose roll? Firefighter Ashley.
The straight hose roll.
The straight hose roll. That's correct. Said it here. We did it outside. It's going to stick in your brain. Next question. Let's do what are the uses for the straight hose roll? Firefighter Tammy.
Loading on the back. Returning to quarters after an incident to wash.
Loading and washing. What else?
Place the hose in storage.
Storage.
And loading of the Minuteman.
Loading of the Minuteman. Those 4 things are the key things we use that straight hose roll for. And last question, what is the purpose for rolling the male couplings on the outside? Anybody? Firefighter Jennifer.
It indicates the hose may be damaged or requires inspection.
That's right. So usually that happens when we damage a hose on a fire scene and we cut it, rip it, or it fails. We're going to roll it reverse, backwards, until we can get back, tag it, and send it up the chain for repair. Just to go over anything else, do you have any questions about the class? Anybody?
No, it was a great class.
Great class. I'm going to put this back up on the board. This is my information. Once again, you can reach me here on the cell phone at appropriate hours or email me anytime if you have any questions about the straight hose roll method. And thank you, and class is dismissed.